Yo, what is good, y'all? Welcome one-on-one with BRM. I got a special guest in the house tonight. We got my man KWON 5'9" in the building. KWON, man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. What do you know about that strawberry acai refresher? I can never say acai right.
Yeah, it's funny because I just saw you drinking it. I was about to call it because I order this all the time for my wife, a venti mango dragon fruit with lemonade. So I know a lot about it.
Yeah, I've heard about that one too. I had one of the Starbucks crew made me get that one time. It was good, but
it was good.
Like, I miss my strawberries.
So I think I was drinking a little bit too much of them, so I had to kind of dial it back. Too much sugar or something.
Yeah, it happens. I actually just quit soda. I'm on day 5 of no soda.
Oh, okay.
That's my addiction. That's my only addiction.
I know. It's like, you know what? You got to try to make it like you got to have some, like my wife and I was like, okay, we got to start trying to cut some of this stuff out. And then we were like, well, you got to start the day with something. Got to have something good in life. You know what I mean? Like you got to whatever makes you happy, man. If it's just a little drink in the morning to get your day going, just get that drink in the morning.
I know I've had former drug dealers tell me how, oh, you need to quit soda. That's horrible for you. I'm like, bro, you did drugs for 25 years. What are you talking about?
I think that cigarette or soda would be all right.
For real, let me have something.
That's so funny. Hey guys, again, welcome one-on-one with BRM here. We got KWON 5'9". KWON is the one that's usually doing the interviewing. So he is the interviewee tonight. And I'm glad to have him on because I'm gonna give a quick little rundown on just kind of how I met KWON. Basically through the old internet web, through shows. That's how I met him. I was just submitting music. I was just starting to kind of get the music out a little bit, and I was trying to just kind of test it out with different people who were doing reviews. I had hit up Mike vs. Mills. I think he might have been my first one. And then KWON and James at the time were my second one. And I saw them making reviews and doing reviews, and I was pretty nervous, to be honest. And, you know, they seemed to like the music, and that was super exciting. I like the group that they just kind of have put together, the culture around Speak Life Radio. And that's kind of how I met KWON. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate the opportunity and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you not sending whack music because, you know, a lot of these artists tend to do that sometimes. So I definitely appreciate that.
No, man, appreciate you guys and appreciate the platform and, the stuff that you guys are able to do for artists too. Some people may have some beef about people giving real reviews. Just be ready to know what you're submitting when you're getting into these different platforms. Know what you're submitting into. Somebody's might actually give you a full out review of a song, and it might not be what you want to hear.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
And I've been doing it long enough to where those things don't faze me. Like I know how to respond to people when they get the big long inbox messages, because they're your best friend when they want to send you the song, right?
Right.
Hey, KWON, how do I submit, man? I love what you're doing. But then after you don't give a good review, because a lot of people just want to be hyped up. And we talk about that on the show all the time. We're not here to hype you up. We're here to help you improve. And it's just our opinion. It's 3 to 4 people at the table. Some people online chiming in and stuff like that. That's our opinion. So, then when we get the inboxes after the show, it's like, you were so cool with me before, but now all of a sudden I'm not a Christian. I need to change the name of my show. I mean, we get that at least once a month, like one of us on the show does, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think it's more comical. A lot of people have hit me back and apologized like a month later, like, my bad, bro.
That's good.
Trying to work and stuff like that, get better. But
it's tough. It's tough. And I think it's one of those things too with music. Guys, this interview is going to be about KWON. We're going to be talking to KWON.
Bro, talk about it.
I want y'all to get to know him. But we're just kind of chatting here because we didn't have a lot of chat time before we went live here. So we're kind of just doing it live. We're just kind of doing it live right now too. But it is dope because there's not a lot of places where you can get an actual review of, from 3 different people on a show. I'm more of a guy that I'm playing videos of people and just kind of helping them get a video out, like for my show. Just to help as a is another Christian hip hop artist who likes to do this stuff. I'm 39 years old. I'm not the next Lecrae. I do not care.
You're an old man.
We're old, you know, so it's like
you're not.
Hey, you know what? If we got a little gray in the beard or maybe a little bit, we're getting up there a little bit. But we look good.
I don't have a little gray. I got a little black.
You got a salt and pepper look.
A little bit. Like the pepper's disappearing though. It's mainly salt.
Hey, it looks good on you though. Hey, if I got gray, if I got gray like that, at least hopefully I'll look pretty good like that, man.
I've been called a silver fox before. I don't know what that means.
Silver fox. Oh, hey, silver fox, man. That's a compliment.
Yes, it works.
That's a compliment. You know it's a compliment. Hey, yo. So I mean, guys, check out KWON59. Check out his show, Speak Life Radio, Guerilla Cross. Actually, I'm just gonna play this right now since we're kind of doing a little intro to you, anyways, for people who maybe don't know who KWON is and what he does. This is actually his show. He's having a couple of people coming up pretty soon here. Jess Norris is going to be on tonight, newest member of Menace, K-Drama, KJ52. People who, if you are into Christian hip-hop realm, you know who these people are. So they're going to be great, dope interviews. So make sure y'all check those out. KWON, I'm going to just go ahead and just get kind of right into this a little bit here.
For sure.
I'm going to start first since I kind of talked about the radio station and what you do. How did you get involved in the radio? How did you get involved in that? You got the studio there. How did that kind of fall into place for you?
Never thought about doing radio. I had been on a couple radio shows in the past.
Yeah.
And even when I was in the station, I never, I never thought like, oh, this is something I want to do one day, you know? But everything evolves from me trying to be a rapper back in the day.
Sure.
So I used to rap. I started rapping in 1993. I wrote my first rap. It was horrible. I still got it. I still got the paper. It was horrible, but you know, I don't know when it was first rap. This is dope, you know, and it took me a while to get dope, but I started rapping in youth group and stuff like that. I've been in church most of my life. So I started rapping in youth group. You know, growing up in youth group, you're trying not to listen to mainstream radio.
Yep.
But of course, hip hop back then in the 90s was at its peak. I mean, so we would listen to some Christian hip hop. It'd be like DC Talk, which was cool, but you know, it wasn't the hip hop. It wasn't what I was hearing. It wasn't Biggie and Nas and all that. And Gospel Gangsters came out, and that was the first CD that I was actually proud of to be able to show people at school and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I was in high school.
Yeah.
And when it came out, I'm like, yo, this sounds like stuff I would hear anywhere else, you know?
Right.
So I was rapping just a little bit before that is when I started rapping in youth group, just doing little, you know, little stuff for a youth group. That was it.
Right.
And then about 96, I got a little more serious about music, started a rap group with my boy Cruz and Gail. And we were doing a lot of stuff locally. We were doing little youth group tours all around the city. So we were to everyone's church, rapping. And especially back then, like right now, a lot of people rap.
Yeah.
In church.
Right.
Back then we didn't have a lot of people doing Christian hip hop. It was still very weird to even hear that.
That makes sense.
A lot of churches didn't accept us.
Right.
Or if they did, they would look at us as like a gimmick, and we're like really taking it serious.
Sure.
So then from there, you know, I was in different rap groups, had a whole big rap collab called Elect Poets. My man Joe Seif, who's on the show a lot, he was part of that. We started the 180 hip hop concerts in 2002, and we were doing little shows in a Christian coffee shop. And that's kind of how Guerilla Cross and the whole 180 started, was in about 02.
Okay.
And then about 05 is when my man Sundance came up with the name Guerilla Cross, and it was, you know, a long story to Guerilla Cross, but it was kind of like meant to be like a venue. So we would have monthly events and stuff like that. So so we started putting on monthly hip hop events out here locally, different coffee shops, different, you know, little small venues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then from there, so there was a little podcast studio at a big church, and one of my a guy I was working with a label, he said, you guys should start a radio show, make Guerilla Cross a website where you're promoting Christian hip hop. So I'm like, all right. And he showed me Sphere of Hip Hop, which I'd already been a fan and follower of Sphere of Hip Hop.
That's still out, right?
It's still out, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh from Sphere. So we're already looking at that, and I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work to put in on a website to promote music. So he's like, and you guys should do a radio show too. My man Simply T, he was going to be the host of the radio show because he already hosted out here FM 88.1 and still does. But so he was just going to be the host. I was going to be on it because I was the owner of Guerilla Cross. I was overseeing everything.
Got you.
I was just going to be on it with him pretty much, and he was going to do the radio portion of the website and the whole brand. And I was more focused on the monthly concert events and different things like that. So that was about 2008 when we started Speak Life Radio.
Man.
2007 or 2008. So we were doing it at that studio. I had a studio built in my garage to record. So, long story short, when I started rapping, we were spending all this time and money in a studio recording, getting beats made. And so I decided, like, let me just buy equipment to make beats so we're not in the studio forever making beats. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what's up. Oh, wow.
So I spent $5,000 in one day back in 1999. This is my original MPC 2000.
Wow.
So I was making beats, and I just started making our own beats so we can go to the studio.
Wow.
And we didn't have to spend all that time.
For sure.
Making beats, we
spending money.
We want exactly. And so from there, it's like we might as well record at the house too. And so bottom line, I built a whole studio in my house. People started recording. They wanted to record with me and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And so we were doing the podcast, the live stream at the studio I was telling you about. And there was a couple times we went there for our show and nobody was there to open it up, and they were supposed to engineer and open it for us.
Oh, wow.
They're not there. And, we started getting frustrated. Oh, my bad. You can come get the key, or you can, I told Simply T and my boy Cruz and the people doing the show with me, I'm like, look, man, we can record at my studio and we can just put it up. People could download it. This is this is when live streaming first started. So you weren't really, it was hard to get like a radio station necessarily online. So from there we just started recording it at the studio in my house. I'm like, we gotta have a studio. We need to quit complaining and just do it on our own. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. So then we started streaming live on Ustream. We were just streaming audio. And then I moved into a new house. We started streaming video on Ustream. Okay. I had one webcam, and I have some of those videos up. I'll email you one. So you can see it. I'll probably post one in the Speak Life Radio group.
Yeah, do it. That'd be dope.
Yeah, but so we were only doing interviews with like local artists and stuff like that. Then we were playing Christian hip hop, and then I think Show Baraka was our first like mainstream interview. And all of a sudden we got Show Baraka. I'm like, yo, that's dope. We got somebody like outside of Vegas. It wasn't like,
your local talent.
Exactly. And so I'm like, yo, this is getting kind of like something that, wait, we might be able to actually do this. And then I kind of took over where it's like me and Simply T were still doing the show, but we were kind of co-hosts together. Okay. And then we got Bizzle the next week.
Oh boy. So you're like, okay, it's snowball.
Pretty much. And from there we've had pretty much, artists every week since then, and I think that was probably like 2010 maybe. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, so it's just been really cool. We linked up with Jam the Hype for a little bit, so we were streaming on Jam the Hype Radio as well as Guerilla Cross.
Nice.
And then I had the studio in my house, so we're doing the shows. Started managing a couple Christian hip hop artists. My man Asai Ziv, formerly known as Kid, and Jay Givens. So I was doing management. I was
Longo too. We had that same,
Charles Longo. So it was a whole crew of people out here. So we were recording. They'd be on the show with me and stuff like that. So it was fun, man. We were doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then from there, long story short, my girl moved in. We weren't married. We got evicted.
Oh.
And the problem with that is my studio was in my house. And I was running studio sessions out of my house. I wasn't running any radio shows besides my own, but I was running studio sessions where, you know, I'm making money doing recording and engineering and mixing and mastering and stuff like that. And I get evicted. And this is almost 6 years ago. I get evicted and have no idea what I'm going to do. Oh. I still have Speak Life radio show going. I have some interviews coming up. And I'm like, yeah, I got to shut them all down. I don't even know what I'm going to do. You know, we could maybe stream from a Starbucks or something. And I remember one night my pastor hit me up. He's like, hey, you can come to the church if you want to bring some of your stuff and just set up. So we actually interviewed Brinson, and I was in my church, and it was like a low point in my life. Yeah. Like, I got to keep pushing through. I still got to keep pushing this somehow. Yeah. I got to keep going. And so we did that at the church. And then one day we did it in Jay Givens' apartment. Oh, we had the banner on the back, and we set it up to make it look like a radio show. We interviewed Tragic Hero. And we interviewed a couple other people. And then from there, Jay Givens was like, I want to look for a office. Like, I need to get out of the house to do his website work and write and stuff like that. So we're like, yeah, man, let's look around. I would go in with it or on you with it. And so we were looking around, and it was something like, to me, it's like, okay, to get an office space and stuff like that, to put my studio in is like a dream that would be way down the road. Yeah. Like, okay, this is something like, let's look at office spaces that maybe in a year or two, it'd be a reality, you know? Sure. So my friends had an office in downtown Vegas on Fremont and 6th in the Emergency Arts Building. And I had done some co-working with them up there a couple times. And we went up there one day. He's like, yeah, they have, spaces up here and they're pretty cheap. So, long story short, we emailed the girl. And 2 weeks later, I'm moving my studio into this office space. I'm like, what's going on? Like, how'd this happen that quick? Right. And from there, and we were in a little 200 square foot room, but it was perfect. Like, that's all we needed. We just need to set up the tables. Needed a spot. Exactly. And then from there, it just started to where I'm like, let me start the Guerilla Cross app. Let me start a 24-hour station. Let me really start pushing the radio stuff a lot more. Yeah. Casting started becoming more popular. Still live streaming on Ustream. I think Facebook Live was just like popping off at the time. Okay. 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And then, so I mean, that's pretty much where it goes from there. And then other people saw what we were doing with the streams and, hey, how can we do a show in your studio? And now I run a full operational live streaming and podcast studio. Right. We just moved a year ago. Okay. A year and 3 months ago into a newer spot downtown, 800 square feet, way bigger. And, we're doing a lot more video stuff. We do video shoots in here. That's cool. So been upgrading the camera. So basically that's where it is. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm going to put my baby down. But yeah, that's heavy. Go ahead. I mean, that's actually really cool to hear too. People try to buy this from me all the time, and I say no. Joe Seif, every time he comes in, he tries to buy it from me. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I've sold him other stuff, or I've actually given him some things, and but the NPC, not that one. No, my first piece ever. So this started the whole studio. I love it. Hey guys, as Quan goes and puts that back down, that's actually really cool too, because someone said my guy Jay Dunn, Quan and I were even talking just tad before he got on, but we were just kind of talking how this past year was a tough year obviously for a lot of people, but you have to learn, you got to learn to adapt and just keep moving. And even that story that how Speak Life kind of happened and how you kind of transitioned from a rapper into the radio and you had to move and things didn't go your way and you just kept moving and adapting. And then here you are today doing, in my eyes, a really nice job, not only with the Speak Life, but you're doing other things as well and other shows and all that stuff as well. So that's just a cool little testimony that maybe you weren't exactly trying to get to, but I think, definitely. I think it just, anybody who's listening to that, guys, just keep pushing. Real quick, I quit rapping in I think it was 2009 or 2010 when I rapped for the last time. My
Okay.
pastor makes fun of me all the time because we were doing a 180 hip hop show. And I was on stage rapping.
Yeah.
Lost my voice. My voice just left me.
Oh.
I just set the mic down and said, I'm done. I didn't realize that was going to be my last time rapping ever, but it was.
But I was done.
And it got to the point where so many people were rapping and nobody was promoting. And so I'm like, let me focus on, I didn't love it anymore. I wasn't trying to make it.
Yeah.
Let me focus on these younger dudes that are trying to make it. And that's when I started managing Jay Givens, helping out my dude G Blessed, recording Charles Longo, people like that actually had the hunger, had a little more creativity, and
sure.
You know, and that's when I just started pushing and decided to be more in the background, promoting. And that's what I wanted. That's something I tell a lot of younger artists too, because everybody wants to be the artist on the forefront.
Right.
Like, let that evolve into something. Have something to fall back on. Not everybody's going to make it.
No.
0.5% of people make it and actually do it for a living in hip hop.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Or basketball or this or that or whatever. It's very slim. So make yourself faceted. If you can.
You have to have a lot of different
skill sets.
Exactly. Because most rappers, most artists are going to put a lot more money into their craft than they are making money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know that, like videos, recording, beats, pictures, all that stuff. You know how that is.
Hey guys, and a lot of us do that. And guess what, guys? That's why personally, I've always learned to do things myself because I didn't want to spend the money. And so, I mean, that's just something I chose to do. I'm not saying you can't spend money or that maybe even you should, but just know why it is you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then from there, kind of let it see where the chips lay. But, but be multifaceted, man. And you said you might've lost your rapping voice, but I noticed the one thing that I first noticed when I heard your show for the first time, and I already told you this I'm like, this dude actually sounds like he's like Marv Albert, like he's got like that radio voice. So you might have lost your whatever, but your rap voice at the time. But I was like, man, this dude got a really good radio like voice. You and James both, I thought at the time.
I craft that a little bit because I mumbled a lot. I didn't realize I mumbled. My mom and sister would always tell me as a kid, like, you're always mumbling. We can't understand what you're saying. But you know how you sound way different to yourself than you do to other people, right? Boy. So in my mind, I'm not mumbling. I'm clear as day. I don't know what you guys are talking about. When I started recording, I think 96 was the first time I actually started recording in a studio. Okay. But even before then, when I was recording in my closet, I had all the clothes around me. I had a boombox playing the beat, another boombox with a mic on it, recording. And I would play it back. I'm like, why don't, like, I don't sound like that in real life.
Oh, wait, I do.
There's no way. And so I had to really teach myself how to articulate and stuff like that. And people always said I had a good voice, and I never, I hated my voice.
Sure.
Forever.
We all hate our voices.
We do. We hate our own voice. And it took me a long time to like really get comfortable with it and use it as a gift, and that's kind of, how I take it.
That's what you're doing. Hey, that's super dope. And actually, it's pretty cool too, guys. I ask a lot of, I usually ask about 5 questions with the one-on-ones here, and KWON covered about 3 of them with your answers. So that was beautiful.
You asked the questions.
I didn't even have to ask the question. I should just I got my Skittles here, and I was just sitting back listening.
Wait, how can you eat Skittles while you're talking?
I wasn't.
But those are the worst things ever. You get all that gunk in your throat.
I actually don't mind it. I mean, I don't know.
Skittles don't work for me like that.
I shouldn't be in any candy with my teeth. I'll tell you that much. Hey, it's pretty cool there, guys. We got KWON 59 here. I'm gonna actually play something by his promo for tonight's show, because he does have a show tonight. He's got a really cool guest on tonight. Jess Morris, the newest Menace squad mate, teammate. And I'm just gonna play this
movement. The Menace movement.
Menace movement.
Don't get Dayton.
No, I don't want him to come at me.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Menace movement. He's gonna have that voice come at me. But I'm gonna play real quick here, just this promo for tonight's show. You guys are gonna catch that probably in a few hours here. So let me go ahead and play that real quick.
Yo, what's up? This is KWON59 from Speak Live Radio. Tune in tonight as we have the newest member from the Menace Movement live on the line, Jess Norris, tonight, talking about her new single, 8 p.m. West Coast time, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Right here, streaming live on Guerilla Cross Radio, GorillaCross.com, and all the Guerilla Cross social media pages. Tune in. You don't want to miss it.
Speak Live Radio.
Dope little promo. And guys, by the way, I know Quan, you do some of you do your own graphics and stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do my own graphics. I actually ran a web design company, 5-9 Web Design, for a while. I hate website clients. So I'll never do websites again.
You're like,
it made me hate creating. I used to love creating websites, and then clients, like if it was a big client that was paying me like $2,500 to $3,500,
yeah,
they'd be great. If it was a client that was like, hey, we're just starting out, can we get it $500 for a website? And stupid me would need the money, and I would do it.
Are you sure?
They would 3 months of my time for that $500. They would complain about everything. They would try to do a chargeback at the end of the transaction.
Oh,
and
boy.
So after that, I was like, I'm done. So if somebody wants a website, I'll do it for $5,000. But that's
yeah.
But yeah, I do all the graphics for Guerilla Cross. I did that little promo video and stuff like that.
Yeah, dope. Super
but
dope.
yeah, I do all the graphics and everything. I love graphics, and I producing other shows in the studio.
Okay,
they all need graphics, so I take pride in making it look super tight.
Yeah, you got your stuff tends to have a kind of a signature look. I feel like, because I've seen the graphics for your other shows as well too, or at least the other ones that you run through Guerilla Cross. Yeah. But they're all super well done. Hey guys, he answered a bunch of questions already, but I did want to ask him 2 more before we got him out of here and on to the rest of the things he's got to do tonight. But one thing that I wanted to ask you was, who is one of your favorite Christian hip hop artists? Either now or back in the days, and kind of why?
So back in the day, I'll go back in the day, and I'll kind of go with back in the day was Mr. Solo from Gospel Gangsters.
Okay.
He just passed away last year, unexpectedly, and his voice was so dope. He was one of the first dudes that sounded like, 94, you're listening to gangster music already. You're listening to Tupac,
right?
Dre.
It's already that sound.
Spice One, MC8, all these cats, right? So Mr. Solo came out on Gospel Gangsters. The Gospel Gangsters were dope, but he definitely stood out above everybody else to me. He just had like a super dope voice, super dope flow, and he never, even now when you listen to his verses from 96, he doesn't sound old school. It doesn't sound like, oh man, that's old. He still sounds relevant. You can play his stuff and he still sounds relevant. And even the things he's saying, like he's from the streets, but you could tell he loved God 100%. And so to me, that was really dope. So Mr. Solo from Gospel Gangsters, rest in peace, was definitely my favorite artist back then. And then now, I hate saying it, but my homegirl got locked out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm like giving my code.
You're giving the code.
Give my code, and it's on camera. Don't do that. Well, shut out the way.
Do it off to the side.
Yeah. Let me go get her real quick.
Yeah, you're good. So, guys, Quan was just talking about who some of his favorite artists were, and he gave a shot to Solo. Back in the day, Gospel Gangsters. He's letting somebody in the studio right now, but it's been cool talking to him. Again, we're gonna ask him too. I see a question in the comments, and I'll be sure to ask him that as well. But go ahead, continue with your artist now.
Now my artists right now, I do have a few.
Yeah, give a few.
I love Eshawn Burgundy.
Yeah,
his flow, the beats he selects, super dope. Jared Sanders. I hate saying that because it's the homie, and I don't like blowing his head up. But Jared Sanders' flow is so dope to me, and he changes up style so effortlessly.
Yeah,
he's super dope, man.
He's dope.
He's really good at picking the right production for his voice and everything. And
even when he does the feature and it's not a production he picks, it's always dope. He'll even switch his voice up even a tad, and it'll still sound dope. So
And you know, AI, we had her on the show a couple weeks ago.
Grimy.
There's so many dope female artists out there. My girl Lex Divine is super dope, and I can't wait for more people to hear her. But she's just creative all around. Those are some of my favorites. I
love it. I love it. What about, so obviously radio, you love music, you love God, your ministry. What's another hobby that we don't know about that you enjoy, that if you have time for other things?
I like to dunk on people.
Oh man. So 7.5, 8 foot.
8 foot. That's a little high.
Yeah, 8's high for me now. It didn't used to be.
Back in the day, you know, we went to we called them the dunk hoops, and we would go there and do that. But and this is one-on-one with BRM. So I thought we were actually playing basketball. I didn't know we were doing an interview.
So basketball is my first love. So
I've been working out, but I love basketball. So I'm watching basketball all the time. If you see my studio, like I got Laker stuff everywhere. So I love basketball. I love watching movies.
Lakers.
I'm a big movie head.
Star Wars, tacos.
Oh yeah, man. Mandalorian. I got a Mandalorian helmet somewhere.
My son, man, he got me onto the Mandalorian. We watched all the seasons so far, man. We've been having a good time. Great.
I love Taco Tuesday. That's my favorite day of the week.
We're on it tonight.
Oh yeah, Taco Tuesday. I like traveling. I don't travel a lot now because I'm so busy, but you know, I like getting out, going to the beach, going to LA. And then I mean, I'm working all the time, but my work is fun.
Right, I was about to say.
I'm in the studio, or we're covering UFC, so we're at UFC events.
Oh yeah, UFC. You like UFC? Yeah.
So I'm always there.
That's cool.
And Jay Dunn is talking about Magic Quanson. I don't even know who that guy is. I think I've met him a couple times. But
Magic Quanson. I love it. Everybody's talking Magic Quanson in the comments. Hey, 2 questions on here, too, real quick. We got somebody, Mr. Russell, Andrew. We know Andrew. He asked the journalist, would you ever think about starting a label?
No.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't think labels are necessary right now, and it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have time to do it. I've been asked in the past to do it a lot, especially when Vegas was really popping. There was a lot of artists out here at one time, and you know, we had talked about it, but all the work, it's just too much. You know, I'll help out with artists independently.
Yeah.
But as far as a label, no.
Yeah. And it's funny what you said about the labels, because obviously there's a lot that goes on with that. People talking about the masters, and you don't really need one nowadays. Yeah. I will take a quick shout out. You know, I'm with a team, and we do a really good job of not making it ran like an old school label. Yeah. We're more of a team that just helps each other out. And that's kind of what it is. You know, it's trying to build up the next guy to go out and do whatever they want to do. So that is definitely probably more of the thing to do nowadays, is just have a people that kind of build around you that you trust, and then shoot each other out to maybe the next thing that it is you're going to do. I'm not here to talk about against labels or nothing.
And make sure when you have a team that there's people pulling their weight. So if you have a studio and you're recording people, make sure they are doing graphics or they're doing other stuff, because you get a lot of these artists that they just want everything for free and they don't want to put the work into it. You know,
got to pull your weight, because otherwise, why do we want you around if you can't pull your weight?
Exactly. And I know people that have been on labels and they were just on the label. You know, I'm going to interview my man John Gibbs sometime in the next month or two, and he was on Interscope, but I don't think he ever put anything out on Interscope, and I think he was with them for a while. Now I don't want to get into his business, but
right.
He's not on with them anymore, and I don't know the whole backstory.
Yeah,
I just know that, you know, being on that label, they didn't really do a lot, and labels can be great if they do their job, but they can also be detrimental to your career. Yeah, because you can't put anything out if you're on a label. Right. On your own. And that's I'll even just flash this up here. Journalists, it's all about kind of collectives now. And you know, I tend to agree with that in this day and age. So yeah, no, that's dope. I'm glad they asked those questions in there. Last question, which I know you kind of touched on. You've given out some real good tips tonight as well, along with some testimony, etc. But what would be one last thing you would tell? Because I like to ask this to people.
you would tell an artist who is getting into Christian hip hop? We're going to say Christian hip hop because that's generally what we do.
Yeah.
That one person who's in Christian hip hop that you would tell them that would be something they need to focus on.
You need to put Christ first if you're doing Christian hip hop.
That's number one. Number two.
So many people jump into it and they're doing it because I think it's easier to get shows, it's easier to get collabs, it's easier to get out there.
Yeah.
In Christian hip hop, and I know a lot of Christian hip hop artists that you'll notice. Well, this will be number two.
Yeah.
When you get bigger, when you get more successful, when you get more popular, when those Instagram and Twitter numbers go up from 500 followers to 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
Keep the same heart that you started with, because I see so many people change up, and you see the people that used to be so down for Christian hip hop. Once they get popular, all of a sudden they're not repping that anymore. They're I'm doing something different. But
sure,
you see their heart change. You see them do life different, not just doing their music different.
Wow,
you see their life is different now. You know what I'm saying?
If anything, I mean, we could all talk about discrepancies with CHH and that kind of stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
But please don't let our lives change from what the main focus. Don't let your life change. As far as, I'm not talking about making money or anything like that. Hey, if you can make money with music, go make money with music.
Yep.
But don't let your life and your purpose change because those Twitter numbers are going up, those Instagrams and whatever. And
I think that's a major problem. And
that's tough.
As humans, we're not supposed to be famous. I really don't think we are.
You're probably right.
Because you start getting worshipped in a way, and
sure,
we will take that to our heads.
Because we're human.
We're human.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a very dangerous ground to walk on and to want. A lot of people want stuff they can't really handle.
That's true.
God holds a lot of people back from getting what they want. I know some people that's like, thank God he didn't let this person get too successful, because I know they wouldn't have been able to handle it.
That's truth. That's truth. And think about how many different things we've had even in our own lives. I'm sure even yourself or whatever, but little different platforms. Pretty sure God didn't want us to be. There's a reason why he picked a different time for us to do the things that we're doing.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, if I was in my 20s, oh gosh. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, it would have just been ridiculous.
There's things that I've complained about, 10 years ago.
Yep.
That I have now that God showed me, like, you wouldn't have been able to handle that 10 years ago.
No way.
Looking out for you. We complain a lot when we don't get what we want or get what we pray for. We pray for something and then we don't get it right when we pray for it. And then 5 years later, you might get it and realize, that's why. Because I would not have been able to deal with this the right way 5 or 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
No way.
So there's a lot of maturing you have to do. And just because you pray and don't get it right away doesn't mean God doesn't hear your prayer and doesn't have. God has our best interest in mind all the time.
Yep. Absolutely. Amen. I love it. Hey guys, again, I got KWON59 here. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna let him get to the next. He's got a big show tonight. Again, Menace Movement. Jess Norris is gonna be on the show. And he's got a lot of shows that are coming up. We got Jess Norris from Menace Movement, K-Drama, the first Christian hip hop artist I ever heard back in 2000 and I want to say 7 on MySpace.
Okay. There you go.
And then I heard no Christian rap after that, really. I didn't even know who KJ52 was until like 2 years ago.
Wow.
And he's been around forever. So anyways.
Forever. No, seriously, KJ was born in 1902. He's
KJ's got to be older than us, no?
No, seriously, I think KJ's 52 years old, so I think he's reached his peak.
He's awesome, man. I
can't wait for that interview, man. I've been able to build with him for the last few years. I met him like five or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot coming up, man.
Yeah, stay tuned. Again, you guys can find KWON on give them everything they could find you at in case they don't know who you are.
I'm mad because I saw GS just come into the live stream.
Oh, okay.
The only time I see GS come into a live stream is when I'm wearing his No Compromise shirt.
Oh, so he's like, oh, he's repping. He's repping.
Yeah, but I'm kind of offended that that's the only time he watches the show is when he's scrolling and sees me wearing his shirt.
Oh, let me stop in real quick so he sees that I'm support. No.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
GS.
Hey, and actually, what's it? Is that his rap name?
GS.
Yeah, that's his rap name.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I heard him on your show.
Okay, dope.
You had played, Dayton. I think I came in. I found your show also from Dayton. You were interviewing Dayton the first time with this Hell in Hallway album. So that was the first time I saw your show because I think he had posted it and I was like, oh, what's this show?
Is that when Dayton was in the studio or we were just doing a phone interview?
I believe it was a phone interview. Okay. I believe. But that was the first show I know because I remember sitting there listening to him talk about how that album came about and he was going through the, his different relationship stuff, whatever, without getting into it. But yeah, that was dope. And then after that, I was like, okay, this is a dope show. So anyway, dope. Hey,
I appreciate you tuning in and everything though, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I like good stuff. There's so much stuff nowadays that are kind of, sprouting out from the different things, I think that people have seen. So, testament to what you're doing and what a lot of people are trying to get out now. We're trying to give different platforms and different things for artists and different people to watch. So I hope people are tuning in and enjoying it. So KWON, appreciate it. Stay on for a second after and then you could go. But guys, appreciate y'all tuning in one-on-one. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.